everybody. Welcome to this version of Pit Stop, and I am so honored to be at Fort McHenry National Monument and Historic Shrine. And joining me today is Ranger Ray. And Ranger Ray, this is the birthplace of our national anthem.
Yes.
Which just recently had its 90th anniversary.
Yes.
So tell us what happened here September of 1814.
All right, September of 1814, after about 3 weeks after the British had burned the Capitol building and the White House, they came into Baltimore. They were going to try to take Baltimore, empty out the warehouses, just like they did Alexandria, and possibly burn the city. At Fort McHenry, we had about 1,000 men. The regular garrison was 100 men. We had reinforcements of about 900 men from all over Maryland, southern Maryland, all over the area. The British Navy approaches and starts bombing Fort McHenry September 13th, 1814. They have a total of 16 ships against the fort, but the main weapons were their bomb ships. The Volcano, the Etna, the Meteor, the Terror, and the Devastation. They were firing bombs at a rate of 1 a minute, along with a rocket ship, the Erebus, firing deadly rockets at the fort. 1,500 to 1,800 bombs were fired at the fort within 25 hours, from 6:30 on the morning September 13th until 7:30 the next morning of September 14th. Now, during that battle, the British ships came in close. We hit them several times. We did not sink any of their ships. But the next morning, the British realized they're not going to be able to take Baltimore. Not only was Fort McHenry defending Baltimore, between Fort McHenry and where those concrete pillars are today that you see when you come to the fort, we sank a line of merchant ships to obstruct the channel. And over next to where those concrete pillars are, we had 3-gun battery over there. And when the cruise ships come in, we had 3 smaller forts as well. So the British can't get past Fort McHenry. They realize they're wasting their time, and they want to get down to New Orleans. So the Vice Admiral Sir Alexander Cochrane decides he's just going to leave. Baltimore's not going anywhere. We'll come back and take Baltimore later. Well, out in the Patapsco River, 3 miles away from the fort, aboard an American ship that's tied to the British command ship, is a man named Francis Scott Key. Key's watching the battle from the deck of that truce ship, which is actually a Baltimore merchant ship. So he's watching the battle, and he's wondering what's going on. He can see the bombs and the rockets, as he said, bursting in there, the red glare of the rockets, but he wants to know what's going to happen. Are they going to be able to take the fort? If they take the fort, they're going to take Baltimore. So he's very anxious. He's got a lot of friends in Baltimore, so he's very anxious about what's going to happen. So he's not really hearing anything as far as the reports from the battle. He just knows the British are firing. Now, the flag that flew here was a 17 by 25 foot 15-star 15 stripe flag, and that's the wool flag, and the storm flag we refer to. And so the next morning, when the British stop firing at 7:30, he can't see the flag because of the heavy rainstorm, because the flag's hanging limp against the flagpole, and because even after it stopped firing, it's very cloudy. So for 90 minutes, Key is wondering what's going on. The British have decided to leave, but Key didn't know that. So he's thinking maybe that means the fort's about to surrender. Maybe they're about to take Baltimore. So as Key is watching, at 9 o'clock, he sees something happens in the fort. At that time, the storm flag is taken down, and the large 30 by 42 foot flag is hoisted. That's the same size flag we have right now. And that's right where the flagpole was in 1814. So at 9 o'clock, the flag is hoisted. Now, it's not hoisted as an act of defiance. It's hoisted because it's an army base, and at 9 o'clock, you change the morning colors. That's what Major George Armistead, the commander here, did. It's 9 o'clock, put up the good flag. And so as that flag is to the top of the flagpole, the rain clouds disperse, the sun comes out, and the sun shines on that flag. And when Key sees that, he's so inspired by what he has seen that he goes and writes a poem called The Defense of Fort McHenry. Then that music is added to it, even though Key wrote it with this tune in mind. So he writes what we call the Star-Spangled Banner, and today, March 3rd, is the anniversary, is 90th anniversary of the national anthem becoming, the Star-Spangled Banner becoming the national anthem.
So hence the line, and the flag was still there.
And the flag was still there. The second verse describes that perfectly. On the shore dimly seen through the mist of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes. What is that which the breeze over the towering sweep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam, in full glory reflected, now shines in the stream. 'Tis the star-spangled banner. Oh, long may it wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. That is the moment of victory. Everybody in Baltimore sees that. They're staying on their top of their houses, all cheering because they can see the flag from Baltimore.
Wow, amazing,
Yes.
amazing. And I tell you, it's hard to believe it was 1814.
Yes.
So it didn't become our national anthem until 117 years later.
Right, right.
So we just celebrated the 90th anniversary on March
Yes.
3rd because
Yes.
President Hoover signed in on March 3rd, 1931.
Yes, absolutely. That's when the becomes the national anthem. Star Spangled Banner becomes the national anthem.
So I got one more question
Yes.
for you. The fort is called, as you see the sign here,
Uh-huh.
Fort McHenry National Monument and Historic Shrine.
Yes.
I thought it was one or the other. How's it both?
It is both. There's other duly designated sites in the National Park Service. So it's a national monument because honoring the men that fought here in 1814, standing up under that bombardment for 25 hours. Not one man leaves. Not one man leaves. They all stay there and do their duty. So it's a monument to them. It's a historic shrine because of the moment that Key sees the flag. The moment that Key sees the flag and gets that inspiration to write what we call the Star-Spangled Banner, that's what makes Fort McHenry a historic shrine. And Congress made us a historic shrine in August of 1939. And we're the only historic shrine in the National Park Service.
There you go. Well, if you're from Maryland or Baltimore and you've never been to Fort McHenry, please take a Saturday or Sunday or go. Presently, they're still not fully open because of COVID, but opening soon, hopefully, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So, do they have a website you can go to if you want to get
We
information?
have our website, nps.gov, /FOMC. We have a lot of information on our website. There's also an on-sale audio tour that you can basically take a virtual tour of the fort. We're doing a lot of virtual talks online, so you can still learn a lot about Fort McHenry that way.
If someone comes in from out of town and is visiting Baltimore and they want to visit the fort, what can they do here now?
Right now, all they can do, unfortunately, is just walk the grounds. The Tuesday through Saturday, the visitor center is open for restrooms only. They can walk the fort. There's a rail fence that surrounds the fort. They can walk around the rail fence. They can still see the fort. They can still see where the flagpole was in 1814. But when they walk around the bridge, look down the Patapsco River, they can see the Francis Scott Key Bridge. That bridge was 4 miles away. Key was 3 miles away. So that'll give them an idea of where Key would have been when he sees the battle.
Actually, if you're heading over the bridge and you look down, there's a red, white, and blue buoy that marks the spot where the ship was.
Yes, there is. Coast Guard puts it down there every year. So yeah, and that gives you a really nice indication of where Key would have been when he sees the flag.
Ranger Ray, I want to thank you for educating us all about Fort McHenry National Monument and the Historic Shrine.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for coming today.
Well, look, I'm honored to introduce Keenan. Keenan, introduce yourself.
I'm Keenan Smith with the Northwestern High School program for the Visual Performing Arts School, Jen Henson program.
So Keenan is going to perform on this 90th anniversary when this actually became our national anthem. Keenan, take it away, buddy.
Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose but stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay, Justin, that was absolutely beautiful, Keenan. Thank you. And Justin, happy Red, White, and Blue Day and happy 90th anniversary of the Star-Spangled Banner becoming our national anthem. Right here from the home of the national anthem, Fort McHenry. Well, joining me now, I am at the gate of Fort McHenry. I have historian Earl Cotman from the Linkey Group. Earl, now we just celebrated the 90th anniversary, March 3rd, 1931, when President Hoover signed over to make the Star-Spangled Banner our national anthem. Tell us a little history of how that happened.
Well, the Star-Spangled Banner became officially our nation's anthem on March 3rd, 1931, under Herbert Clark Hoover's administration. And it began before that in the embryo stage. Not many people know, U.S. Congressman John Charles Linthicum spearheaded this. Back in those days, if you wanted things done, you went to John Charles Linthicum to get them done. For example, the dual registration of this historic site. John Charles Linthicum was responsible for that. You look at our historic sites in this country, they're either one or the other. You know, they're either a national monument or a historic shrine. And of course, Fort McHenry has the distinct, unique, dual reference of both. And that puts it in a unique category all to itself. John Charles Linthicum wore many hats before becoming U.S. Congressman for this state. He was a school administrator. He was a state delegate, a state senator, and then voted into Congress to represent the people of the state of Maryland. There was a pretty colorful figure around that time in the enigmatic figure of Reuben Ross Holloway's wife. And of course, in those days, you know, you mentioned the male's name and only the fact that this was his wife. So she was Mrs. Reuben Ross Holloway, namely Virginia. She was quite a character. She was dubbed the Hat Lady. And what she would do, she would go to individuals' houses that would hoist flags. And if they were hoisted improperly, she would knock on your door. And she would make sure that you didn't have the Maryland flag atop the American flag. You didn't have it upside down, didn't have it on an inappropriate day. She gained quite a reputation for that and being very patriotic. So after John Charles Linthicum had gotten Fort McHenry more or less categorized in this dual capacity, she came to him with the idea, with the influence that he had, to have an anthem. We had plenty of patriotic songs, and of course, a lot of people know that there were other patriotic songs in the offing to become our national anthem.
God bless America.
Exactly. You know, America the Beautiful, et cetera, et cetera. And they opposed it at first because they said it was pitched much too high for public singing. The U.S. Navy band employed 3 singers to sing it to convince the populace that it would sustain the litmus test and becoming our anthem. So with John Charles Linthicum behind it, it eventually, by act of Congress, became our anthem on March 3rd, 1931. And the poetic justice, I guess, behind that, if you will, was that John Charles Linthicum would live long enough to see the fruits of his efforts, because he died on October 5th, 1932, and he's buried right here in Baltimore.